not the best way to make friends, but I feel it needs to be said. So, I am from California, or as I like to call it sometimes, the land of vehicular stupidity. I don't know what it is, but Californians just can't drive. We can do a lot of other things, but driving is just not one of those things. And as hard as it is to say, I would even have to consider myself a horrible driver just because I was born in California and I have seen how they drive. Like, I consider myself way above the norm of drivers in California. But as far as like a world spectrum of driving skills, being the best of the worst still makes you the worst. Which is why I would say, just because I was born and raised and learned to drive in California, I would say that I'm probably a horrible driver in the world. And you might be saying, oh, well, what about Jeff Gordon and all those other California NASCAR drivers who win all the time? Well, yeah, but there's a big difference between driving here and driving here. So they may be good drivers here and there, but we don't know. I'm just saying, most everyone in California is a horrible, horrible driver. I think most of the stuff is just, Californians are just oblivious to everything, even themselves while driving, and I don't think they know, like, laws of driving, like, they didn't learn anything. For instance, here's the thing that happens often. You know when a traffic light is broken, and so it starts flashing red, and you would think, well, okay, the light is out and it's flashing red, so it turns into a stop sign system. Not in California. Every time that happens, I get so afraid, because every time I'm sitting at one of those flashing red lights, waiting to take my turn, I always see someone either run it or like brake harshly right in the middle of it. It's like they didn't know, oh, flashing red lights, that means go, right? That means just go, all out, no rules. And it happens all the time. And another thing, which isn't, well, it's only dangerous very rarely because it never really rains here in California, but like, people don't drive with their lights on in pouring rain. And it's like, you do realize that even if it's not raining, even if it's just cloudy, it's a law that you have to have your lights on, right? That's a law. That's a thing. That's not just, oh, if you would like, no, that's a thing. But I've had it where, like, every now and then, like, once every year we get like a serious downpour for like a day, and you can't see anything, and like I can barely see the car in front of me with lights, but like nearly half of all the drivers don't have their lights on. And you can't even see them, even if they did, but you really can't see them when they don't. And it happens all the time. All the time. They are so dumb. Not to mention, we can't even drive in the rain. I mean, a little, like, bits of water falls on the road and we just lose our minds. We're like, oh my god, rain! And they're like, oh wait, it was just a sprinkler. And we caused a 5-pile accident. But we just make, in general, they just make bad choices. They're just completely oblivious to everything. It's amazing how horrible everyone is on the road, especially on the freeway, because I spend a lot of time commuting on the freeway, and so I know. Oh, there's a lot of aggressive drivers in California, and here's a newsflash. Being an aggressive driver doesn't necessarily make you a good driver. Because, yeah, you may be able to weave in and out of a whole bunch of cars, but if you nearly cause 20 accidents every time you get on the road, that doesn't make you a good driver. That makes you an a-hole and a horrible driver. But like I said, in general, there's just a whole bunch of, like, horrible decision-making. And a very, very lack of awareness of just, not only just other drivers around them, but even themselves. Like, they're not even aware of, like, how big their car is or what they're doing at the time, and I just don't know. They're just awful. But I feel since I'm saying all this, I should give an example of a good driver. So here's an example of a typical, like, situation that I would come across on the freeway. Okay, so here's me in the second to fastest lane, going about 76. And I'm coming up on a guy in the fast lane who's going about 72, who really shouldn't be there. Bad decision one. And on the other side of me is another guy who is also going about 72, which is fine because he's in the slower lanes, so therefore he can go slower. Now I can see behind me, coming up on me, is a guy who has been weaving in and out of other cars and is going probably around 80, 82, so he's coming up on me. And I know he's gonna make a horrible decision, so it's up to me to make the good decision to make sure that he doesn't get everyone killed. So here's what's gonna happen. He's probably can tell that the guy in the fast lane is going slower than me, so he's gonna ride up on me. And if I don't speed up, he's gonna flip to the guy in the other lane, in the slower lane, and try to speed past me to shoot the gap and get in front of me and keep doing stupid stuff over and over again and eventually die somewhere. Nobody cares. If I keep going my current speed, that little gap that he's trying to shoot is going to become really, really small, and that's going to cause problems. So I can either do a couple of things. I could speed up really fast and give him an avenue to go behind me and then jump in front of one of these two fools. But we both know he's not going to do that at first. At first he's going to speed up and tailgate me really close for about a mile for no reason, even though there's wide open and he can get in any lane and go around me before he does that, which is going to be annoying. Plus, gas is really expensive right now and I don't really feel like flooring it right now. So the best choice to do is just to coast, because it saves me gas, leaves that empty room for him to do his stupid little move. He feels better about himself even though he's a horrible driver, and nobody died, and things go on, and I saved gas. You see, being a good driver takes more than just being aware of every car around you at the time. It's also being aware of what that person's thinking. And you might be saying, oh, how could you possibly know what they're thinking? Trust me, if you just watch people and see the way they're driving and the speed, you can anticipate what people are going to do. I know because I do it all the time. It's not hard. And in California, I would just take people being aware of themselves, let alone be aware of the people around them. I would just really like to see them be aware of themselves. That would be a win.